What's good, everyone? My name is Casey Crushfield, and welcome to episode 19 of Enjoy Life. Before we get started here today, please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to leave a comment. Today, we're here in Lafayette, Louisiana, and the guest to my left, he's a former Raging Cajun and now owns his own restaurant, Shane's Famous Quesadilla Burgers. My guest today, Mr. Shane Vallot. How we doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Good, can't complain. Before we get started into everything, I just want to say, do you find during football season it's busy at the restaurant?
Oh yeah, well, so last weekend was our first game for UL, and it was a crazy busy weekend. I mean, we ran out of a lot of food. We weren't quite prepared, but I think we're ready now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite team besides like the Cajuns? Maybe not even college, just like professional too?
Professional, my favorite team is probably the Saints. But I know I got a lot of my former teammates that played in college with that played a bunch of different places. Like my best friend Elijah Mitchell, he plays for the 49ers.
Yeah.
My other really good friend Robert Hunt, he plays for the Panthers now. He played for the Dolphins last season and the last 3 seasons. Actually going to the game this weekend, and he got me some tickets, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that's going to be great. But I just want to say thank you again for giving me some of your time. And the place looks great. I wish they could see everything, but it looks great.
I appreciate that, man.
But kind of tell me about your early upbringing. What was that like being a child?
Yeah, well, so I was an odd bunch. You know, it was 3 of us. So I'm a triplet. Which actually was funny because before us, my mom and dad had twins, but one of them didn't make it at birth, so it ended up being just one. And then 2 years later, they tried again to have just one. They just wanted one,
Yeah.
and ended up with 3. So it's kind of crazy, you know, growing up as a triplet. You know, I don't know if I would mind just having one brother, but having 3 of them and 2 the same age as me, it kind of sucks because. Well, I'm not gonna say suck, but it's kind of rough because, you know, for your birthday, you could be getting, you know, a lot of things, but everything has to be split 3 ways because you got 2 other people that gotta get stuff for graduation. You know, you could be getting a lot of money and all this kind of stuff for graduation, but they gotta split it 3 ways because there's 2 other ones as well. But besides that, man, I think we had a great upbringing. We fought every single day, which actually made us love each other so much more now than we did when we were young. When we were young, we kind of really hated each other, but I think it all paid off. It made us all tough, tough humans, and, you know, it kind of prepared us a lot for life. So it was rough. It was fun. My mom and dad did the best they could to raise us the right way. I think they did a heck of a job.
Yes.
All 3 of my brothers, including me, are all entrepreneurs. We all own a business. And, you know, the future is bright. So I think they did absolutely an outstanding job. And, you know, I wouldn't want it any other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was fun.
And so you say all of them are entrepreneur. I know you obviously have this, and Nick has the Hooping Help. What is your other brother?
So my brother Justin, he has a regular day job, but he has a side job as a cleaning business.
Okay.
Where he cleans houses, cleans businesses. And then my older brother, who was 2 years older than us, who was a twin, he had a real estate. He's in real estate. He has his own real estate agency.
Yeah.
So he's doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so kind of transitioning into high school. So obviously you played football in high school. What was that like?
Man, so actually going into high school, so my whole life I was always the biggest one out of the whole family, even my older brother. And people always was like, man, I think there was 4 of y'all and you ate one of them because I was just so much bigger than the other ones. But so growing up, man, everybody was like, man, you need to play football. We played every sport but football. I played basketball, I played soccer, I played baseball, I did everything. And I loved it. I mean, we were a family of sports. We played sports. I mean, we played every sport. Yeah, it was fun seeing us growing up in Little League. And because the thing was, if you draft one of us, you got to take all 3 of us.
Yeah.
So that could be a plus, it could be a negative. I like to think it was a big plus for a lot of coaches out there in a lot of the Little League. We had a fun time. So going in the high school, I didn't play sports, but I wanted to. My mom didn't. She wasn't with football. She didn't like it. She was like, look, I don't want you to play football. I was like, well, we ended up living on the same street as our high school, Kauai. And I was like, look, I want to play football. Everybody keeps telling me, I want to go play. So I ended up walking to football practice every morning, which is a 5-minute walk. It wasn't anything crazy. Because my mom didn't want me to do it, but I wanted to do it. So I was like, I'm going to do it. So when I first went in, I remember the first day I went to football at Como, the coach asked me, hey, what position you play? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, in the backyard, I played quarterback and running back, and that's about all I know. I didn't know the position. I didn't know offensive line. I didn't know all those kind of things. I barely even watched football growing up. So he's like, look, we're going to just stick you here. We're going to put you at left guard. I remember saying, I'm like, what the heck is left guard? But I didn't like it because I saw that I was on the line with a bunch of other fat dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not what I want. I want to play quarterback. I want to play running back. I want to do something like that. Well, I mean, I'm actually really glad that I got stuck in that position. I enjoyed it, man. I really did. I made a lot of, I think in all my years of football, I've gained a lot of brothers. I've gained a lot of friends. I've gained a lot of people that I still talk to today, still know, and created a lot of great memories. So getting into football, man, was a huge plus for me. I ended up playing football and quitting basketball, quitting baseball. And then I started wrestling in high school as well, which was huge. And I'm glad that I did it. I think it taught me a lot as well. And it helped me for football. But man, I'm glad that I took that leap and was like, look, I want to play football because it's actually done a lot for me now. I mean, it's helped me get where I am today, so it's huge.
Now, before we get into your college journey, I know you said that y'all all played sports together in Little League no matter what. Who's better at basketball, you or Nick?
I like to think that I was the best at all sports. Nick and Justin would disagree, but I mean, I gave him run for the money. Now, I was, let's put it this way, they were point guards, and I was a power forward.
Yeah.
But I will say I did play point guard a lot of games on my teams because I just could do it all. You know, I could a shooter, I was a dribbler. I mean, I did it all.
Like magic.
Yeah, so they couldn't handle me in the paint, though. So if they came down the paint, Nick and Justin couldn't take it. But I would like to say I was definitely a better basketball player, but I think Nick would disagree.
So kind of moving on into, you go to Lafayette. And so tell me about walking on to play football and how that all went.
Yeah, so in high school, man, I just started playing football, so I didn't know too much about recruitment. I got a couple like small college offers. I remember Southeastern was a school that offered me, and I didn't know what Southeastern was.
Yeah.
So my coach was telling me, I was like, hey, look, man, it's a good school. It's in Division I, just in a different conference. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I don't know. So I just kind of waiting to see. I didn't think I would be to the point where I can even get off of it. I didn't think I would become that. I ended up being an all-district player, all-state player at my high school. And so really, it got down to the end of my recruitment my senior year, and I was like, all right, I want to commit. Just go ahead and commit to Southeastern because I wasn't really getting any more offers in. And I was like, look, might as well commit so I have a place to go and play for free, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I guess when I called the coach to tell him, hey, I want to commit to you guys, well, he told me, like, look, man, we gave you an offer away. You know, so I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, well, that's how this thing works?
Yeah.
Well, a while before that, UL had offered me a preferred walk-on. But I was kind of upset because I went to one of the football camps at UL, and I felt like I did it really good. I actually dominated the whole camp. And there was a guy who was there who I didn't think did good at all, but he was huge. He was tall. I didn't think he did good at all. And they gave him an offer at the camp. So it kind of disappointed me that I got a preferred walk-on, obviously because of my size.
Yeah.
You know, because you can coach all the other stuff. You just can't coach size.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to come to the realization of that, especially now that I'm a coach. You know, I could see that. But it kind of disappointed me. So UL wasn't really on my radar at that point. But when I found out Southeastern had pulled it, I called Coach Mike Desmond. Actually ended up coming to school that day. He was the head coach now at UL. He came in, and I told him, I said, look, man, is that preferred walk-on still available? And he was like, absolutely. And I told him, like, I want it. So I remember him, we hugged that day in the office, and he actually was the reason why I decided I wanted to go to UL. I mean, he's a great guy. He always kept it real with me. And so, you know, I was like, let's do it. So going in and walking on, man, it was tough. I mean, walking in there, seeing guys like Robert Hunt, Kevin Dotson, these guys are all in the league, Max Mitchell. You walk in there, you see all these guys, I'm like, there's no way I will ever play here at UL. But I was like, hey, let's give it a shot. So going in there, you know, my first year was rough. My old coach who had the time, he told me I had to gain weight. I was 280. He told me I need to gain weight. I've never been told I need to gain weight before.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, let's do it. So we used to get these free core power protein shakes, and I remember I was down on them daily, like 2 or 3 a day. Well, I ended up making my way to 325 pounds, and it made me a worse player. I mean, I
Yeah.
move, I could barely move. I mean, it was tough. So at the end of the year, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna quit after this year. Just get a job. Just move on my life. This wasn't for me. I'm never gonna play. Well, then our head coach ended up getting fired. A new coach comes in, Coach Bill Napier, and I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's just see. You know, why not? I might get a chance this time. We never know. So I ended up staying, and I remember when this started came in, we had evaluations, and my offensive line coach that came in, Coach Rob Sale, he was like, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think you ever gonna play. You're too fat.
Yeah.
And so really I kind of shut down again, and I was like, man, I think it's my time to quit. Like they're telling me like I won't play here, quit. But instead, it kind of motivated me. You know, I've been called fat my entire life when I was young. My brothers would call me fat every single day. So I was like, look, we can do two things. Hey, we can either quit and give up, or we can use it as motivation and do something about it. So I took it in, and I was like, look, I'm going to show them. I was told I wouldn't better do it. I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to prove them wrong. So I lost 55 pounds in 2 months. And it was insane. I did a lot of unhealthy stuff that, like, not even with trash bags on, running, all kind of bad stuff. But it worked. And, you know, I kind of worked my way up. I went from being a guard, worked my way up to from 4th string, the 3rd string, the 2nd string, and then eventually our backup center. The time couldn't really snap the ball as well, so my offensive line coach moved me to center. And I was like, man, another hard part of my life, because I never played center before in my life. And if you haven't played center, it is really tough to snap the ball, and if you haven't done it before, and be able to block. So I was like, I really want to quit again, be honest with you. But I was like, hey, look, I didn't make it this far. You know, I'm now getting a chance to compete for 2nd string. You know, so I'm gonna put the work in. So I remember every single day I was out there snapping the ball at least 100 times a day until I got it. I mean, I struggled. I mean, we were at practice, and I constantly struggled, bad snaps, getting yelled at, all kind of stuff. It was tough for a while, but eventually I worked my way up, and I became the 2nd string center. Well, going to spring football, at the end of spring football, the last day of spring football, our starting center at the time towards ACL.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm like, okay, whoa. Like, it didn't really hit me till later on that, you know, I'm the backup center, so that means that I might be the starter. Because, you know, torn ACL, you out for a while. It takes a while to come back from. It could really screw up your career, which actually kind of happened to him. He wasn't able to shake back from it. So I mean, my O-line coach called me. He's like, look, you know, you need to take it serious. This summer, you're going to be the starter.
Yeah.
This is your, as of now, you're the backup center, and our starting center's out, so you're going to be the starter. You need to take it serious. So I remember I took that summer serious, man. I worked hard, I grinded, and we got off at the end of summer. We got off a couple of days, and we come back for a team meeting. Well, when we came back for that team meeting, Coach Napier had my whole family in the back. I didn't see him. I was sitting in the front, and he called him down, and he put me on full ride scholarship that day. So that's honestly probably one of the best days of my life. I was not expecting it at all.
Yeah.
It was very rewarding, because, you know, going from saying that I would never play to wanting to quit 3 times, and now getting put on full ride scholarship, becoming a starter.
Yeah.
For this team that I was told I'll never play for, the team of my hometown that I dreamed of playing for. You know, I'm now here. So I kind of took it all in, man. I was like, look, this is awesome, but now I got to go make a name for myself, you know. It's okay to be named the starter, but it's as easy as you can get named the starter, as easy as you can get taken away. So I really took the time and effort and put time in, worked hard, built the mind of my teammates to learn the system, and became a 3-year starter, you know. And won 2 conference championships, and the rest is history after that, man. I mean, I think I grew so great a relationship with Coach Napier and his staff that he ended up taking me with him to coach with him in the University of Florida when he left. So, you know, from going from not believing into believing and achieving. So
Yeah.
that was good.
And who would you say kind of helped you in those hard moments, you know, like you said, when you almost wanted to quit? Who was really there for you, I guess?
Well, I would say my mom for the first part, mom and dad. I didn't really want to tell my brother at the time, because I felt like they would make fun of me for wanting to quit. But my mom and dad really, you know, helped me out a lot. But really, my offensive line coach, he didn't let me quit. I also my friends, my close teammates. I mean, I remember me telling them, hey, look, I think I'm calling this. Some of them told me, hey, do what you got to do, but some didn't let me. I remember my friend Kim Marks, Robert Hunt. They talked to me, Elijah Mitchell. I mean, they kept my head in it because I mean, I tried to quit multiple times.
Yeah.
But Coach Shell is my offensive line coach. He's also the offensive line coach at the University of Florida. But he didn't let me quit. Like no matter how much I wanted to quit, he didn't let me. I remember the last time I tried to quit, he called my mom up to the facility and was like, "Look, I'm not letting your son quit. I'm telling you, I'm not letting him quit. I don't care what you do. I'm not letting him quit." So he actually didn't allow me to quit as much as I wanted to. Like I remember I took all my stuff in my locker and I was getting ready to leave, and he was like, "You're not leaving." So
Yeah.
I sent back, like I'm not letting you quit.
And this is when you were already center or prior to that?
Prior to it.
Okay.
So becoming center, and well, the last time was when I was a backup center.
Okay.
I was done because I was struggling. But yeah, he didn't allow me to. He kept me in it. I mean, I thank him so much for that today because sometimes you see that tough coaching, that tough love. You don't really see it in the time, but I realize it later on, years down the road. Like he was right, and I thank him for it because if I would have quit, I definitely wouldn't be here today. I mean, I don't think I would.
Now, would you say all those winning the conference championships and being a 3-year starter, has that, I guess, that rewarding helped you become more motivated today? Like just kind of that, like if I can go through that, I can do anything.
Absolutely. I think it taught me so much in life. Every time I go through a struggle, like opening this up, man, it's been a journey. We've been over about a year and a couple months now. And I remember the first couple months of opening up, I was ready to give this up as well. It was tough. It was the toughest time of my life. But I look back to those tough moments I had in college, and I was like, look, I tried to quit 3 times, and where did it get me? Right? Yeah, I didn't quit, and where it got me? It got me to 2 conference championships. It got me to a full-ride scholarship. It got me to a 3-year starter. So why? I look back at those things and like, I think the same thing now. I use a lot of things that I do in this business is I use the football strategy. I use the coach in me, right? And I always preach to my kids, my players that, hey, look, I tell them when they come to me and they want to quit, I tell them my story every single time. And 9 times out of 10, I save a kid from quitting. And then, and they come back later on like, thank you, coach, man, because, I really want to give it up. Yeah. So I use those same things. There's hard times every day. In this business, it's hard. You lose employees, you lose business, you lose food, you lose all kind of stuff, man. And it's really tough. It's not for the weak. You got to have thick blood in this. And I think if I didn't go through what I did in football, or if I would have quit, I would have gave this up already. And so I look back and I used everything that I've learned in that to now.
Yeah. And so kind of moving on, we're going to shift more towards the restaurant side of things. So tell me how that all got started. Maybe we could start off with the catering, like you said, off camera.
Yeah, so how that got started is when I coached at the University of Florida for a year. I didn't like it because I didn't have a life. It wasn't that I didn't like coaching. It was just that it was a lot, and I kind of wanted to do other things. So I moved back home. I was supposed to open a food truck, but that didn't work out. I had a partner who just, it didn't work out. Let's just say that. So I ended up taking I took a job at Daiquiri Supreme, which is a little spot here, as the kitchen manager, not having really any kitchen experience. Just I cooked in my house, but nothing.
Yeah.
So and the owners there kind of let me do my thing, and I kind of enjoyed it. I never thought I would enjoy being in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun, and I'm thankful for that job. But I had a lot of fun. So then I took a job at St. Thomas More High School, where I became a teacher and a coach. And kind of when the food truck thing happened with my partner, it kind of put me down in another bad way, another way as I wanted to give up. So I kind of was done. Like my dreams of owning a restaurant or owning a food truck was kind of shot and done. Again, my mom and my brothers motivated me to. They was like, look, don't give it up. I think you got something special. You just need to give it some time and start something else.
Sure.
So my mom actually helped me out. She's like, why don't you open up a catering business, like a little side catering gig?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm teaching. I can't do that. I have too much stuff going on. But I was like, you know what? It don't sound like a bad idea. Yeah. So I opened up a catering business on the side, thinking that I was only going to get like one or two events on my weekends, kind of starting off. And that's kind of what happened. And then being at STM, coaching there and teaching there, I made a lot of relationships with a lot of people, the parents, and all. And they supported me so much. I mean, I went from having one event or two events a month to having 10 events a week. And then growing. And I was doing all this at my house. I remember for Thanksgiving that first year, I had so many orders, and I did a deal with myself. I didn't even get to enjoy Thanksgiving. I didn't have a Thanksgiving that year. I cooked so many meals for so many other people, and I didn't get to have one for myself, which was rewarding, but it was exhausting. And that made me realize, like, man, I'm growing, but sometimes, you have good growing pains, and that was a pain where I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this for myself anymore. Like, this is tough. So, so then I started, at the end of that year, I was like, look, I think I want to make a decision here. I want to stop teaching because I kind of want to do this full time. It's got to that point. So I was doing everything in my house, and I was looking for a spot to just do catering of. I didn't want a big restaurant. I just wanted a spot where I can do catering. So I found this spot here, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do it just for catering. It had a huge kitchen. It's kind of everything I needed for catering. So I got it. But then as a month or two in, I'm like, man, I think this spot is way too good to not like be a restaurant. Like, this is a perfect spot, a smaller spot to just try, see if it will work. So that goes back to when I was in college. I came up with these burgers. That called the K-Steel burgers, what we're known for. So what happened was really it was an accident. So I was cooking some burgers one day on the grill. I had a bunch of the guys over from the team, and I thought I had grabbed some buns from the store, and I didn't. So when the burgers were done, I would go to the house to grab the buns, and there were no buns. All I saw was some tortillas. So I was like, look, if I leave now, the burgers gonna get dry, they don't get mad, get hungry. So I was like, look, we're gonna make shift. We're gonna use these tortillas to make burgers. Well, I had about 10 guys there, and we did them, and they came out phenomenal. They all were like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. Like, what? And I was like, they're like, you open a food truck with this or something. I was like, I ain't doing all that. But years later down the road, I was like, look, if I'm opening up a restaurant, I got to be different because everybody has a restaurant. Everybody sells burgers. Everybody sells fries. Everybody sells all this other stuff. But what can I do to be different? And I thought, oh, wow, let's do these quesadilla burgers. What other place in the world has quesadilla burgers?
I don't know.
Nah, there's none. So I was like, this is going to be different. So I came up with it. I was like, look, that's going to be, we got all kind of stuff too. We got loaded fries. We got wings. We got chicken. We got all kind of stuff. But that's what makes us different. And when people come in, when we first opened it, people was like, what is that? This is just a quesadilla? Like, what? Like, I'm not understanding what is it. People were scared to try it and all this. Now it's blown up. I mean, people love it. They come in here just for that. They love how it's a tortilla instead of a bun. So, it's not as much carbs and this and that. But it's kind of taking off way further than I ever thought it would, to be honest with you. I mean, I threw out a dream, hoping that it would work, and it kind of just took off, and it's kind of exciting to see and rewarding because I'm like, man, it's kind of the same thing happened in college. I threw out a dream thinking I can go walk on here and not really believing that I could, but thinking, and then I stuck with it and it happened. I put the work in and it happened. Same thing here. I threw this dream out, not really believing that it would actually really work and become a big thing. But I put the work in, I put the time in, and it shows. So that's been good.
So what would you say is probably like the hardest part about having a restaurant?
Oh man, everything. But no, the hardest part is, man, is staff control, food control. And the biggest thing is, man, this is the one business that no matter what happens, you cannot please everybody, right? No matter what, you're never gonna go to every restaurant in your life and say the food was amazing. You always have something to say, right? And you got to deal with customers, and dealing with people is hard. It's a hard issue to deal with because as much as you put in the work in and hard is. And one thing I believe in is like, right, you can go to McDonald's and they can mess your order up once, 3, 4, 5 times, and you don't keep going back. But you come to a spot like this, a local spot, and you give us one shot. We mess up one time, you'll never come back. And then you put all this bad stuff on Facebook about us or on social media about how I would never go here again. But McDonald's constantly screws your stuff up all the time. And you constantly go back. So it's hard in that aspect. Is look, like, I just wish people understood that we don't try to screw anybody over. We don't try to mess up anybody's order, right? We try to do the best we can. We try to build the item the best we can. We try to make it look the best we can. We try to do everything right sometimes things happen, right? Sometimes we're short on staff, which people don't know, right? It's hard to find people to work. It's hard to keep people. You can find people, it's hard to keep them. It's hard to keep decent people. So that's things that people don't see, and they come here and they just want the food. They don't care about your issues. They don't care about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I picked this industry. I understand what comes with it. Not making an excuse. That's just some challenges we face. It's stuff like that. And no matter what, I guess the good thing about it is that people always want food, but there's so many restaurants here in Lafayette. So so that's why I said you got to be different if you're gonna do it. But for the most part, man, we've had a lot of great moments. We've had a lot of good reviews. Not many bad ones. It's all simple mistakes that we can fix. Just the small things. There's some things are just like it's people's liking. Like, hey, they might come here and say they didn't like it, and that's fine. I'm not expecting everybody to like my food.
Yeah.
But for the most part, a lot of people do. So that if I can keep it to that point, I'm fine.
Yeah. And so to top that, what is the most rewarding thing you'd say?
The most rewarding thing for me is it's not the money coming in at the end of the day. It's really truly seeing people enjoy it. Like when I get text messages, I get reviews saying how good the food was. And I see like it's crazy because like, okay, this is stuff that I craved when I was in college and stuff that I wanted to eat 300 pounds. But really, I didn't know if other people like the same way I like food. So seeing all these people text me, it's like, hey, look, somebody texted me the other day and was like, hey, Shane, your food is, I think, by far the best in Lafayette. Or somebody said, hey, you're making Lafayette fat again, and I love it. Stuff like that really, really like gets me going. It makes me, when I'm having a hard day and I see something like that, that makes me realize like why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I really enjoy seeing the joy in people's faces. You never really realize that food can bring joy to people. But I've seen so much of it. And it's exciting for me. It's really rewarding. The money is good. We got to make the money to support it, grow and be able to take care of myself and take care of my staff. But really, at the end of the day, man, seeing the joy, the smile on people's faces. I like the marketing aspect of it, like getting on social media, seeing people react to our posts, seeing all those kind of things like that. That's what really excites me. When I go out in public and people are like, hey, you're Shane, you own Shane's Family Kitchen, and I'm like, yeah, like, man, your food's amazing, blah blah blah, this and that. I love that. Yeah, I absolutely love it. That's what I do this for. So that's the most rewarding thing for me.
And so, who would you say is like the most famous person that y'all have had here? Does anyone kind of stick out?
Yeah.
Anyone from Lafayette?
Well, so Elijah Mitchell, my best friend, played for the 49ers.
Yeah.
He's been here multiple times. He comes about when he's in town. Robert Hunt, he plays for the Panthers. I was telling him he's been here. I know we had a couple like artists come by that we post on social media, but I would say, man, for the most, we had a lot of NFL players come by.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends play in the NFL, and they come by. But yeah, I mean, I would say a bunch of NFL players.
And so, what would be your advice and your opinion for anyone, let's say like my age, who would want to go into the food business or something like that?
So my advice would be, look, when I didn't have a mentor or anybody, right? When I walked into it, everybody that I asked told me not to do it. It's like, do not open up a restaurant business. It's hard. You won't make any money, this and that. And, it kind of made me not want to do it on first, but I was like, look, the same thing happened to me in college when I coached I couldn't play because I was too fat. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this leap. I'm going to take the risk. I remember the first day I opened, man, I couldn't get a loan. I was too young. Nobody wanted to invest in me because they didn't, nobody really saw it at the time. So I did it on myself. I mean, I saved money when I was in college and all that kind of stuff. So I had the money to do it. Well, I remember the first day I opened this restaurant, I had $5 in my bank account to my name. That's all I had left because I put everything I had into it. So, man, what I would say is if you got a dream, whether it's the restaurant industry or anything, any type of dream, just go do it, man. Because, like, I had a dream to play college football. I did it. Didn't believe I could do it, but I did it because I dreamed of it. I worked for it. It won't be easy, no matter what. There will be a lot of trial and tribulations. I mean, you're going to go through a lot of rough patches, especially as a business owner in any industry, man. You're going to go through a lot. Everybody wants to be a business owner until they actually get in it, and you're like, whew, it's not as good because sometimes you think like a 9 to 5, like, man, I got to go to work. But with this, man, I remember the first 6 months that I opened this up, I was here all day, every day. I mean, from 5 a.m. to I wouldn't leave till 3 a.m. Right. So like it's more than what you think, but it's more rewarding when the time comes. Like eventually, if you put enough work in, you'll get to a point where look, it's running itself now. You got a good stats you can count on, and you reaping the rewards. But it's gonna take a lot of work. But I would say, man, just I think a lot of people dream big and they're like, man, no, that's too big. It never will happen. But I don't believe in that. I mean, I believe it. I think if your dreams aren't scary, they're not big enough. Like if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
Yeah.
So, man, just I would say go after your dreams. Just chase it. I mean, take the risk. I'm not saying everybody's fortunate enough to be able to take a risk in that type of way. Some people are in certain situations where they can't. But if you can, take the risk, man, especially while you're young. I think that's the best thing to do it. Do it while you're young because you got a lot of life left ahead of you, right? You got a lot of life left to recover if something doesn't work. But if you wait until you're 60 years old to take a risk, well, I mean, you basically wasted your whole life. What you do this whole time, and you're taking this risk now if you lose that means now you're in a bad side. You could have kids, you could have a wife. I did it while I was young, while I didn't have a wife, I didn't have kids, where I can afford to take a risk. I can afford to say, hey, if I can't, I can't afford my groceries this month, it is what it is. I'm eating at the restaurant. I don't have to have support any kids or a wife because I didn't have it. So I say, man, the best time to take a risk is while you're young.
That's great. Now, I don't want to keep you too long because I know, like you said, you got a game, but just a couple more questions. Do you see yourself in the near future having another?
Absolutely. My in the near future, man, I'm already working on a second location, but in the near future, man, I see myself becoming a walk-on, a franchise where I can have multiple around the United States. I mean, I want to have one in every state, if not multiple. I definitely see that happening. I see it more now than ever. When I first opened, that was the goal, but didn't really believe it. Now I see it more than I can ever imagine. It's. I feel like we're just inching up closer and closer. Yeah, so I definitely do.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll get there for sure. I wish I could try it, man. It looks good.
Yes,
but before we go into the closing, I always ask this last question, man. Why do you enjoy life?
Man, so the reason why I enjoy life is really honestly for things like this, man. Like seriously, like you don't really realize it, right? You bring people on your staff. You got people like I think I have a great staff of managers, of people under them, and they actually show me why I should enjoy life. When you got people who are not fortunate enough to be able to have what you have, or wasn't able to graduate college, or wasn't able to go to college because of their situation, and they come here and they got a smile on their face and they have a lot of pride and they show as much pride as you do in your own business. To me, it makes me see the real value of life.
Yeah.
It makes me enjoy life a little more and know that look, no matter how hard times are, I got people with kids and they're hard. It's hard times for them. But no matter how hard times get for them, they come in here every day with a smile on their face. And I times are hard for me as well, right? But when I come in here and I see those people smiling and see people who are not fortunate enough to do it, and they smile and they got a smile on their face, it makes me like what we often overlook what we have and think we should have this and we should have more and do this, but we don't really realize what we have in the moment. And that's what I do a lot of times in life. Like, look, my dreams are so big, they are very scary, right? I think already I should have 25 restaurants, right? But I don't realize how good I have it now with one restaurant. How good we've been doing with one restaurant when some people have been struggling. Some people don't make it a whole year. I know people who open up restaurants and didn't make it 3 months. So I often tell myself, look, sit back and enjoy life, man. And one thing I do firmly believe in is like a lot of people, like my dad, for example, he's old time. So he's always talking about save your money until you retire, save your money. And I'm like, man, listen, save for what? Because it's tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
Right? Like, enjoy your life in the moment because who knows? Like, what if you don't wake up tomorrow? What if you get in the wreck on the way home? You know what I mean? That's just reality. And people are dying left and right. I mean, with COVID, all kind of stuff. So what are you waiting for to enjoy your life? Why not do it now? Enjoy the whole thing. Don't enjoy it when you retire.
Yeah.
When you retire, it's time to relax. It's not time to enjoy. You're supposed to enjoy it up until retirement. And then when it's time to retire, you can enjoy it more by relaxing. But enjoy your life now. Take as many trips as you can. A lot of people save money. They're like, I don't have enough money to take a trip. But you really do. Take that trip and enjoy yourself. Just go out and enjoy it every single day. be nice to people, put a smile on your face, because at the end of the day, you never know when somebody needs you. Like a big thing that I do here is we do a quote of the day.
Yes.
Every single day we do a quote of the day. And the reason why I do, people ask me why you do a quote of the day, because a person like me, I love motivation. And I wake up every morning and sometimes I don't want to get up. Sometimes I don't want to do this. Sometimes I wish I could just stay in bed all day. But for me, I think the motivation, if I could see just a motivational quote and I could read it and it could affect me that day, I'm a whole lot better of a person that day than I would be if I didn't.
Yeah.
So I put that motivational quote in here for people to walk in, because you never know somebody's having a bad day, right? Somebody have it on the way here and they had a bad day, but they come and get some food. Well, they might read this motivational quote and that might just go, dang man, that I needed that today.
Yeah.
So that's my goal with that. And hey, I just believe that, just to spread good love, spread good energy, be positive.
Yeah.
It's too much going on in the world right now to be negative. Just have fun, enjoy it, and be positive.
Yeah. And those are great answers, man. And I wish you the best of luck for the restaurant and everything. I'm just so happy for you, man. It's a great story.
I appreciate
all that adversity. I truly appreciate hearing your story. But with that being said, we're going to wrap things out. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to comment. Y'all have a good day, night, whatever it is. We're done.